We didn't think much of it, we just thought it was normal whitefly.
It escalated very quickly throughout January.
In hindsight, they were already out of control.
It was probably a perfect storm. 70% of our crops were conventional cotton, so there was still heavy reliance on conventional chemistry.
There wasn't really a lot of options. You had to go in quite hard.
In hindsight, we made the problem worse. The sprays probably didn't make that much difference. Everything had honeydew on it. The only thing that saved us in the year was rain, and that broke it down. We had a lot of sooty mould on the cotton, but no downgrade problems. The black sooty mould is not the problem, it's the glistening shiny stuff.
All of a sudden, the sky was foggy with these insects.
Just on sunup, there'd be a white haze, almost like a fog.
You couldn't even walk around the farm. I used to go for a run in the morning and your mouth would sort of be swamped, and your ears and your eyes.
People walking around the streets with handkerchiefs around their face or masks. It was just thick, and the whole town was like that for a good month or so.
We were looking down the barrel of sticky cotton and discounts. It was suddenly wasn't just one person's problem, it was a problem that we all had.
It was a real credit to the industry then to sort of get together and say, righto, what do we need to know, what do we need to change?
We can't do that again. That was an absolute disaster and we dodged a bullet, but we can't let it happen again.
A group of researchers, growers and consultants went over to the States and talked to other researchers, growers and consultants about how they'd managed silverleaf whitefly in the past.
It took them a day to gin one module. That's how sticky it was. Only 8 or 10% of their cotton that year went sticky, but they were getting discounts for their cotton for the next 10 years because of that.
So we came back and said, righto, based on what we learned in the States, what can we do here differently?
One was basically to reduce the effect of any pesticides that we did use on the cotton. So to really pick and choose what we use and use it very carefully to try to conserve as many of the beneficials, especially parasitic wasps.
We came together as an area-wide group across the Central Highlands with the other growers and agronomists.
The first thing we did was just drop dimethylate right out of the mixture.
Regent was available. We decided to go with that at lower rates and not jump in and spray it just because you're running over with Roundup or things like that.
Getting on board the use of the insect growth regulator, Admiral or pyriproxyfen, which shouldn't be seen as a silver bullet, but was a big cornerstone about how we managed it. Insect growth regulator products work better when you've got a strong predator and parasite population in the background.
IPM became really, really important. We pushed those thresholds. We know that there will be some compensation. It means we were able to go softer for a lot longer.
We did spray a lot with Admiral, probably for the next 2 or 3 years. But we would only require one spray. The odd case might have been 2 with an Admiral and a Pegasus.
No one wanted to be the last person in the field because those whitefly would move out of your neighbour's field and into yours. So by shortening the planting window, it's shortened the number of life cycles exposed.
Every spray I put on that crop, I'm thinking about what's going to happen 2 or 3 months down the track with whitefly or mealybug. Saving $5 or $10 on a spray early on might cost you $50, $60, $70 later on in the crop.
One of the things I think we've done really well here with the use of Admiral to control whitefly is really good responsible use of it. So we haven't actually had an issue with resistance.
Because we're an irrigation area where the irrigation is small and it's a channel system, what we do definitely affects our neighbour all the time. It made us do the right thing straight up and all work together. And not everyone agrees, and people do things all a little bit differently, but there was one main aim.
If you're all working together, trying to do the right thing, it made a huge difference to our area.
In the Bollgard 3 now, so our requirement for early season chemistry is just much less than those conventional days. We're still vigilant about the pest, but it's not a big feature in our cropping system.
It's a controllable pest as far as I'm concerned, as long as you don't upset it. There's a few years there where I only sprayed maybe once for mirids. We didn't have to treat for whitefly at all. The natural predators or the rain at certain times help keep them down. In a hot, dry year, we will probably have to treat, and if we've got to treat for mirids, but it's not an every year thing.
I suppose drawing a contrast with silverleaf whitefly in 2002 to what we're dealing with in Gundawindi now in 2017-18, a lot of the principles are the same. We're relying heavily on not going too hard early season for our sucking pests. Careful monitoring and using the products that are available at the time.
The system that we've had to evolve to learn to manage that pest is really just a better system for managing all the pests that we have. I think that's probably the take-home message from it. The pain in those early years has been worthwhile.